let me show you how I make smoked burgers. So to make these burgers, we are obviously going to need smoke. And in order to get smoke, we need fire. There are a great many variety of smokers and grills that totally do the job, but I'm going to use an old-fashioned stick burner, or offset smoker if you prefer. So if you're using a stick burner as well, make sure your fire, however you like to make it, is going. I personally use a chimney of charcoal, dump it onto a nest of paper grocery sacks and kindling sticks from my yard in between red and white oak logs. So that's what I've got going here in the fire pit. You'll notice I'm using a blower to get the fire going, and it absolutely makes a difference. Okay, so your fire is started. Time to prep our meat. I'm going to take 2 pounds of 80/20 regionally sourced ground beef. I always encourage you to use the best quality ingredients you can both find and afford, which is what I've done here. And I'm going to take this beef and put it on a foil-lined cooking sheet, and I'm going to use this ring mold to make burgers that are about 2 inches thick. I usually build it up to the top of this ring mold, and I know that all ring molds are not created equally, so you've got to do what you got to do. It's about 2 inches thick, comes out to about 1/3 of a pound per burger. Here I have salted the patties right away. I recommend that you wait until right before you put it on the smoker and then generously salt the patties. Okay, so the fire is coming along. As always, cooking with wood and fire, you must pay constant attention to the fire, both in the pit for your fuel source and in the firebox of your smoker while cooking. So I've got some logs that are burned down to coals like I like to use, similar to what a pit master from Central Texas would want. So I'm going to add those pieces to my firebox. Remember to stoke your fire regularly, adding logs at strategic times so that you have fuel sources at different stages of burning. Now we wait for the smoker to heat up to around 250 degrees. Okay, so the thermometer on our smoker is reading 300, but this particular thermometer usually reads 30 to 50 degrees hotter than the cooking surface for this smoker based on the way it's constructed. All right, now we are ready to go. It's time to add some apple chunks, which will provide a nice sweet burst of smoke to get the burgers started. All right, smoker is on and popping. It's time to load it up. I was also smoking some chicken quarters this day, so you'll have to ignore those for this video, but I've loaded the burger patties right up as well. I recommend salting the patties right before you put them into the smoker. I have a 4-probe Bluetooth thermometer that I got off of Amazon for like $40, and I use it to monitor all 4 sides of the cooking surface that I'm using. Obviously, since they are individual probes, I can adjust this depending on how much I've got on the cooker. I put the probes in bigger pieces of meat such as brisket, pork shoulder, or whole chickens, but it's not necessary on the smaller items. Don't forget to tend and stoke your fire, people. Seems like everything is coming along nicely, so it's time to add cheese if you're going to add cheese. I went with a nice mild cheddar on 2 of these, a habanero jack on 2, and then I left 2 without cheese for the lovely lady who lives in this house. We're letting these burgers finish up and the cheese melt, so we're going to grab our instant read thermometer and see if they're ready, and it appears that they are. I cook my burgers to 145 degrees or medium rare because when you pull them off, they will continue to cook slightly, and I do not want a well done or even medium well dry hamburger. So we're going to pull them, put them on a foil-lined tray, and take them inside, where we're about to get down to business. Time to butter and toast some buns in a dry, hot pan. Some people like to use mayonnaise. Mayonnaise works great as well. Really anything to give them a nice crust. And so to get this crust, sometimes you got to give them a little press in the center to make sure as much of the surface of the buns hit the pan as possible. and it appears that I have done these perfectly. What I'm going to do is I'm going to whip up a quick burger sauce to get a little bit of tang to contrast the deeply savory, smoky burger. I usually kind of eyeball this sauce because it's kind of just a beautiful sauce that way. You can do that. So I took about 5 tablespoons of mayo, 2 tablespoons of ketchup. I personally like to use the stuff without all the added sugars. A tablespoon of dill relish. I don't like sweet relish for a burger sauce. And half a teaspoon of garlic powder and about 1/8 of a teaspoon of hot paprika for just a touch of color. Then we taste it and adjust it. It seems like it needed a little more ketchup in this instance, so add some and we're good. All I'm going to put on these burgers is burger sauce, patty, and spicy dill chips. Again, you can totally go with a classic burger setup or create your own setup. I recommend experimenting with just whatever you've got in the fridge to come up with your own personal burger. I change it up almost every time. Either way, it's time to enjoy some banging smoked cheeseburgers. Don't forget to follow at Bobby Jam's Kitchen on YouTube and Instagram.